In this video, I will get the Platinum Trophy in Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy. I never grew up with this game, but I did have a demo of it, which I enjoyed, but I never got around to getting it for myself until the HD trilogy came out on the PS3. Now I do have some history with the Platinum Trophies for Jak and Daxter, as I already have the Platinum Trophy in the HD version for the PS4 already, and in preparation for this video I did already play through the PS2 version of the game on the PS5. I already had a couple of trophies unlocked on that version from a year ago. So this will be the third time I will platinum this game. As always, if this video does well, I'll consider doing a video on Jak 2, a game I have never clicked with, but it is one of my wife's favourite games, so I better click with it or else I'm sleeping outside for a while. This is a straightforward platinum, and it can all be done in one playthrough. If I do it properly, no cleanup will be required at the end either. You get a trophy for collecting every power cell per level, which counts for 16 of the 26 trophies, 7 for completing an additional challenge in certain levels, 1 for finding every precursor orb, and 1 for beating the game. The 26th trophy, of course, is the Platinum Trophy that I desire so much. Oh, come here, baby. Let's, start the game now before it gets too awkward. We start with Jak and his friend Daxter sneaking their way to Misty Island, while their mentor, the green sage Samos, is narrating. He goes on and on about how Jak could be the chosen one if he, could be bothered. While they are trespassing, Daxter accidentally overhears a plot to take over the world by 2 as yet unnamed villains who have corrupted creatures called lurkers to do their dirty work for them. While this happens, a lurker almost catches them, but Jak is able to defeat the lurker with a canister of dark eco, inadvertently knocking Daxter into a pool of the stuff, and he pops out looking just a little bit different. Jak and Daxter get away and return back to Samos, where he informs them that he cannot change Daxter back, but there is someone who can. The Sage of Dark Eco, Goal. Samos is unable to teleport Jak and Daxter to him though, as none of the sages have kept up their teleporters, so Jak and Daxter must go there the old-fashioned way, on a big motorcycle. However, before that they have to go and collect power cells to give to Kira, Samos' daughter, mechanic and obvious love interest for Jak, in order to power up the shield on Jak's bike so you can ride it over the Fire Canyon. Thus, our adventure begins. We start in the tutorial zone Geyser Rock, where there are 2 trophies to earn. One for collecting every power cell, and the other from going from the teleporter gate to the top in 12 or fewer jumps. However, the latter trophy I actually forget about, and I don't do this until later on in the game, so we'll talk about that later. Jak and Daxter is a 3D platformer with collectibles, and as such, every level has 3 different things we'll be collecting, all of which are important to us for the platinum. Power cells are the stars of Jak and Daxter and are needed for progression, that are normally around 8 per level, with around 5 or 6 in each hub area. Geyser Rock being a shorter tutorial level, there are only 4 of them, and one of them is related to another collectible. In every level there are 7 scout flies, and they're always in these red metal boxes. You have to jump and then press square to do a slam attack to open them to rescue them. No need for the raid for these flies, we actually like these flies, and when we collect the 7th one, it will spit out a power cell. I won't mention these too much as I go, just know that I collect every scout fly before I leave a level. The third collectible are Precursor Orbs, which act as currency in this world, but the platinum demands that we get them all, and we will make sure to offer sufficient tribute to our platinum god. The 3 other cells in this level are hanging out along the way, and collecting the 4th cell brings us our very first trophy as well. So at the time of the recording, I was completely oblivious that I'd missed a trophy, so I moved on over to collecting some power cells in both Sandover Village, which is the first of the hub areas, and Sentinel Beat, first proper level. However, we cannot get all cells in either place until a little later on in the game. In the village, we can talk to various villagers who will give us tasks, or ask for orbs in exchange for power cells. The mayor wants us to go to Forbidden Jungle to turn the power back on. He also asked for 90 precursor orbs for his re-election campaign. The sculptor has lost his muse who ran off to Misty Island, and Jak's uncle is short of 90 orbs for his upcoming journey. We start with turning on the blue eco vents, which will allow us to complete Sentinel Beach as well. To do this, we gotta travel to the Forbidden Jungle. On the way though, we help a sleepy old farmer herd his yak cows back into the pen for another cell. In this area, we can also talk to the Oracle, a creepy statue that will trade one of the 2 power cells in his eyes for 120 orbs. We'll come back later for that once we have the dough. In the Forbidden Jungle, we have to make our way through the level until we reach this machine here and break it. Doing this will activate a mirror tower, which we can then use to bounce blue eco energy from one tower to the next, and eventually back to the village, give them their power back. We will get the cell for this from the mayor when we return to the village. Next up, we gotta switch on the blue eco vents. As hinted at in the intro, Jak has an ability to interact with different forms of eco, such as green eco, which he used to replenish his health. When Jak comes into contact with blue eco, he's surrounded by an electrical field which can power up anything with the lightning symbol on it as he walks past. This could be doors, vents with orbs hidden in them, switches for bridges, etc. It is shockingly useful. We use it to pull up this bridge and open the temple, where we are tasked with making it all the way to the top without running out of blue eco. This isn't too bad. You start with a full load and there are boosts to pick up as you go. We reach the top while still moving like greased lightning and we get our very first gold trophy. Inside the temple we activate the vent switch to activate blue eco vents in other levels and kill this hungry plant. After we defeat the plant, we make sure to jump on his head for 5 extra precursor orbs, which are very easy to miss. There's a locked door to the right side of the temple that we will need to access from outside, while under the effects of blue eco for another cell. One of the more infamous cells in the game is the fishing minigame that we have to do for the village's fishermen. This can be infuriating when you first play this, but I've found in repeat playthroughs it isn't too bad. The aim is to catch 200 pounds of fishies. The green ones are worth £1 each, and the yellow fish are £5 each. They will swim downriver, and you have to catch them with a net before they get past you. However, if you miss more than 20 pounds of fish, then you will have to start all over again. Same if you catch even a single poisonous eel. They will spoil the whole batch. Once you hit the required amount, the fisherman gives you a power cell and lets you borrow his boat, which we will need later to reach another level. There is another cell near the fisherman that is found by following the river. After this, we return to the mayor in the village so he can give us the final cell of the level. From here we go back to Sentinel Beach. On our 2 trips to the beach we opened up the green eco vents. Walking into these will completely restore Jak's health, but to my memory they're only here in this level, sadly. We also push a big old egg off a cliff, sadly not to make a giant omelette that would make my Neopet proud, but it is to help hatch a Flut, a big ostrich-esque bird that immediately takes a liking to Daxter. A much less friendly bird has another power cell that are yonks from right in front of us. Getting it back from the pelican is as easy as swimming over to its nest, smacking it, and then racing it back to the power cell. Be sure to know exactly the route you need to take to grab the cell first before you smack the pelican to prevent losing time trying to figure it out with the timer going. We chased a flock of seagulls away and then I ran. I ran so far away to pick up the cell that the resulting landslide revealed. There are 2 cells just hanging about in the level. One is between 2 cliffs on the beach and the other is on top of one of the structures the seagulls were hanging out on. The last power cell is out at sea, and is why we needed to come back here after we completed the Forbidden Jungle, as we need this blue eco vent to be open to use the jump pads to leap our way to the cannon tower. We then defeat the lurker bombarding the beach and claim our final cell of the level. We can access Misty Beach using the boat lent to us by the fishermen. Here is where we will get our second gym badge by defeating Misty and what's that? Oh, breaking news. I am being told that this is the wrong game and also that I'm a stupid doo-doo head. More news at 6. Misty Island is actually where we started this journey. It's where the intro takes place. One of the first things we come across in the level is the sculptor's muse. It's the yellow critter that will run around the level until you catch it. Getting good with the roll and jump is almost a necessity to catch the little rascal. This is not very amusing, but we do eventually catch it without much hysteria. After that we climb onto the lurker's ship. We claim some treasure for our own, avoid some rolling barrels, and shut down the cannon for another cell. And then we can use the cannon to break reinforced crates containing extra orbs in the arena below. We then head down to the arena where we are ambushed by lurkers. We have to survive and defeat them all. Some of them will drop red eco clusters, which increases Jak's attack power. Defeat them all to get access to the cell that is hanging around the dark eco pool, the one that Daxter knows all too well. There is also a section of the level where we can ride around on Jak's Zoomer. In the section there are 2 cells to grab, one for defeating every blue lurker riding around looking like they're having a wonderful time honestly, and one for grabbing this cell by doing a 6 jump over to it. The last cell is near the shortcut back to the start of the level where we can grab some blue eco and rush our way to activate this lift, which will take us to our prize. We go back to the village to return the muse to the sculptor to get the trophy. Once we have finished the 3 main levels of the hub, we're also able to finish all objectives in the village as we now have enough orbs to trade for every cell in the area. I then decided to go back to Geyser Rock to get the trophy I missed for reaching the top without jumping more than 12 times. This is no joke, probably the trophy I struggled with the most out of the entire game. You can eliminate a couple of jumps by high jumping at the start and then just edging the spike traps here and there. Taking the damage was okay because there are health pickups in the chest along the way. A few of these jumps are necessary, but you can save another jump off the cliff if you can roll off onto the grassy area below without hitting the water. This is where I struggled, and as I am on the PS4 version, I do not have access to rewinding that the PS5 version has. Eventually frustration set in and I did put a save point here to avoid having to go all the way back again every time I messed up. And I messed up quite a few times. From here it is fine until the end. Long jump across to the area where the blue eco platform is, and congratulations, you get a trophy. We then have to make our way to the second hub area, Rock Village, which we access via the Fire Canyon. However, as we're riding through the canyon on our zoomer, the temperature of our engine is constantly rising. If it goes too high, we blow up. In order to keep the temperature down, we have to collect these cooling balloons, but that alone is not enough to keep us from We also have to get off the ground by running into enemies, which causes us to do a sick jump in the air. Doing this helps keep the engine cooler too. The way I do this is to concentrate on the collectibles first. I collect all the orbs and scout flies on my way, and not worry about getting to the end on the first attempt. After exploding, I get through the rest of the level, clean up the rest of the orbs and flies, and get to the end on the second attempt with both power cells obtained. We can now explore Rock Village, which is currently being attacked by a giant lurker throwing flaming rocks. His name is Claw. Worse still, the blue sage is nowhere to be found. Around town there are 3 people who have cells to give us. Both the geologist and the gambler will give us a task to do in the Precursor Basin, in addition to selling us a cell for 90 orbs. We also have a cell to buy off the 3rd villager, the distraught warrior, who will also rebuild the bridge to give us access to a level if we can buy the cell off him. Poor bloke is too traumatized from trying and failing to fight Claw to help us any further than that though. The Precursor Basin is where we head to first, and it is a vehicle exclusive level where we ride our zoomer all over the basin, doing tasks such as shepherding the moles back into their holes for the geologist, defeating the flying lurkers, completing 2 checkpoint races and a timed race. The latter actually has a gold trophy challenge attached to it. For the race, we get the power cell if we complete it within 45 seconds. Easy enough to do, and this is what the gambler will give us a cell for. However, the trophy requires us to do it in under 40 seconds, and somehow that extra 5 seconds ups the difficulty a lot. You can use enemies to get a jump boost, but should you fail to beat the course in time, you'll have to leave the level completely and come back in order to respawn the baddies, as they will not respawn otherwise. Blue Eco speeds you up, so it's almost mandatory to hit at least most of them on the way. The best enemy to hit is this one to get onto the raised platform and save a second or so, but as you can see, I fluffed this up and ended with a fantastic time regardless for the trophy. After this, I clean up the rest of the basin and leave with all the power cells, scout flies, precursor orbs, and of course, trophies. Boggy Swamp is our next stop, and our main goal in this level is to find 4 boulders which are being used to tether an airship, destroy the rocks and let the airship float away. We can destroy these boulders by collecting yellow eco, which gives Jak a long range fire attack. Breaking all the boulders is worth 4 power cells on its own. The other ones are for collecting scout flies as normal. Doing this minigame, where we have to use the yellow eco to shoot lurkers who help a farmer's pet return to him after he ran away. 1 for doing this section with the flot we rescued all the way back in Sentinel Beach, which is really fun actually, and then surviving this ambush. No task is difficult in this level. Before we tackle the last level of the hub, there are a couple of things we can actually clean up in Rock Village right here, right now. The Oracle is here too, and for the low price of 120 yards per cell, we can grab 2 more power cells. Just before we collect the last cell for collecting the 7th scout fly, we decide to riot and destroy a bunch of barrels for the "Those Were Our Supplies, Jak" trophy, an easy one. And then we collect the last cell to get the last trophy in Rock Village. Speaking of the last level of the hub is the Lost Precursor City, which we have to take a plunge underwater to explore the sunken city. It is a platforming heavy level where the overall goal is to get to the bottom of the city to pick up the cell that is there. There are a couple of cells hanging about the level on the way to the bottom as well. While getting there, we do 1 time challenge where we shoot a cell through a pipe, then climb our way to get it before the time runs out. Another time challenge is to activate these platforms with a very short time window, which can be quite tricky. A few quick jumps forward and then a roll and jump at the end is how I grab the cell here. There is another cell for completing this jumping puzzle where you have to jump on each platform to fill in the squares, ending with the platform nearest the door, as I learned the hard way in the PS5 version that if you complete the puzzle but don't end on that specific platform, it'll turn it off and close the door in your face. There is a special trophy here related to the 2 slide sections. The trophy is for breaking all the green eco chests along the way down, except it seems to pop after breaking just the majority of them. An easy enough challenge for a delicious gold trophy. After that, we escape the rising dark eco pool from trying to swallow us whole, and then we head back up by raising the chamber up to Rock Village where the final cell is hanging out on top of it. We then have to travel to the 3rd and final hub world via the mountain pass, but not before fighting Claw in a boss fight. He is fairly predictable. The first part of the level, he will throw rocks where you are standing, so move when he throws rocks and you'll be fine. The last rock will contain some blue eco, which conjures up a bridge. He'll then try and get a strike on Jak by bowling the rocks towards him, avoid them, and then pick up the yellow eco to shoot him in his dumb face until he drops a big boulder on his head. The boulder will then come for us, destroying the bridge to set up the next phase. Each phase merely eliminates more parts of the bridge, and he gets a little bit more aggressive with his rock throwing, but after 3 phases, the lurker is declawed and we can move forward. In the mountain pass, we have to race lurkers to a bomb before they can set it off and block off our path. We cannot get every power cell in this level until we activate a switch in a future level, so for now we get through this collecting the orbs and finishing the level. We'll be back for the cell shortly. We found that a goal, the person Samos said could potentially fix Daxter's appearance issues, is actually the big bad evil booty daddy who, along with his big bad booty mommy sister Maya, plans on taking over the world using dark eco. The only thing we can do is collect more power cells and stop them. We can buy 4 power cells from the miners and then head off to Snowy Mountain, which is being attacked by lurkers. In this level we have big snowy and icy platforming sections as well as some combat sections, but it isn't too bad of a level. Here we can activate the yellow switch, which will activate yellow eco vents to open in this level and other levels, and it will also spit out a power cell for doing so. The other cells for the level are for stopping the lurker troops. They have a shield that can only be taken off them by sucking up some red eco and attacking the leader, which will cause the shield to break, leaving them open to a further attack. Defeat all 3 of these leaders for the cell. Certain areas will have these force field devices, which is going to jump over the force field and land on the device itself to shut it off. After turning the last one off, a power cell will pop out. The yellow vent will allow Jak to shoot the frozen crate in this cave here for another cell. You get another one for opening the lurker fort gate. The fort is also hiding another cell from us. The cave is infested with many lurkers, but red eco and spin attacks will help lead Jak through it to the cell. And with the cell for the scout flies, that completes Snowy Mountain. We go back to the mountain pass to claim the last cell there that we could not get on the first go around. We backtrack to the end of the forest section where there's a yellow eco vent and a boulder blocking our way. Soak up the yellow eco and blast that boulder and jump for the cell. The next level is easily my least favourite one in the entire game, Spider Cave. No bonus trophies here either, so it's all about the cells. We get a cell and some orbs by killing all the gnawing lurkers that crawl around the trees. You can do this with yellow eco and shooting fireballs at them until they explode into a million buggy pieces. In the same room there is a cell you have to climb to the highest point of the level to grab. Throughout the level are these dark eco crystals to destroy for another cell, and exploring the dark cave gives us another one. In the dark cave you hit these crystals to illuminate the area around you so you can see where you're jumping to avoid an early grave below. 2 of the cells involve climbing in this section of the level, one for climbing the big precursor robot in the middle of the room, and the other for getting through the swing and pull section. Leaving that area through the cave with the little lurkers produces a cell at the end of that as well, and with the scout fly cell, we're done with this awful, awful place. Exiting the cave with yellow eco allows us to break the crate hanging out just outside the level, and then buying the 2 remaining cells from the oracle gives us our trophy. Our final mission is similar to the first, where we have to keep the temperature of our Zoomer's engine cool enough to stop exploding. Again, I concentrated mostly on getting collectibles in the first go around, but there is a trophy to keep a lookout for here. There are cooling balloons here as well, and if you break 25 of them according to the inscription, but actually 15 of them according to reality, you get a shiny wee silver trophy. Isn't that swell? Only 2 cells here, 1 for the 7 scout flies and 1 for completing the level. We are finally here at the final level, Goal and Maya's Citadel. However, Samos has been kidnapped by the evil baddies, so it's up to us to rescue him plus the other 3 stages. This one isn't as sprawling as some of the previous levels, as we only really have 4 platform sections to get through, 1 for each stage that we have to rescue. After rescuing the first 3, we're given a platform to Samos to get to the final section of the level. Be sure to check all the platforms at the top as they all have orbs on them. When we collect the very last orb, we're given a gold trophy to show we've got them all. Rescuing Samos is also the last cell we need, which grants us another gold trophy. Now it's time for the final showdown with Goal and Maya, but not before we take some time to look at where we started and realise how far we've come. Okay, enough of that. It's time to kick a giant robot's ass. Not literally though, that'd probably end with a broken foot. Owie! The fight has 5 different phases, and each one is a little different from the last. The first phase, the baddies are completely ignoring us, so we get 3 shots to the stupid robot face until it explodes. The second phase has them summoning lurkers from the dark eco to attack us. We use the yellow eco to blow them away. The third phase, the launch mines, that will explode and cause a shockwave we have to jump over. We grab the yellow eco and blast the shoulder away to stop this phase. On the fourth phase, they produce a big mega blaster, and we'll shoot where Jak is standing. By constantly moving, we can dodge these fairly easily and grab the eco to shoot the blaster dead. At this point, the power of the 4 stages combine to produce light eco. We then walk into it to activate the end of the game, and the Platinum Trophy is ours. Jak and Daxter is a very good game. Slightly rough with age, but still good to play for the most part. The camera feels a little rough by modern standards, but everything else works just fine. The world feels connected and detailed. There aren't a lot of characters and most are one note, and they're never spoken to again, but the plot mostly only exists to give Jak and Daxter an excuse to go places. This would not be the case for the next game though. Naughty Dog would only get more confident and bold from here on out. Ditching the Bandicoot was a risk that ultimately paid off for them. Though poor Jak and Daxter are nowadays stuck in the past, with no sign of them ever getting a comeback, unlike their PS2 comrades Ratchet and Clank. I for one am sad about this. I think bring back Jak and Daxter. I think this is a worthwhile game to play, even by 2026 standards, and the platinum should only take about 6 to 8 hours if you know the game pretty well, maybe faster if you're an expert in the game, and maybe more if you've never played it before. It is not difficult or time consuming, but will still make you work for that platinum. Just keep an eye on the bonus trophies when they pop up. If you want to see more Jak and Daxter games, like the video, comment below, and subscribe to let me know that you want more of this. Feel free to suggest other games to platinum, or get every retro achievement in as well. Thank you so much for watching, you're awesome, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye!